Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show, where we always like to have a good time. We're invited to check out the Commercial Real Estate Show on YouTube. If you're listening on one of the 12 stations around the country, you'll find a great selection of videos like Reese on Real Estate and the Fed's view of commercial real estate. You're invited to subscribe so you don't miss a show of special interest to you. Just visit YouTube and search for the channel Commercial Real Estate Show. Well, today we're discussing retail real estate. Please welcome my next guest, John Harrison, VP, National Retail Group with Bull Realty. Bull Realty is a U.S. sales, leasing, and advisory firm headquartered in Atlanta. John has been in commercial real estate brokerage for 30 years. His practice is focused on acquisition and disposition of retail properties. John, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael. Nice to be here.
Well, John, if a retail property owner has a stable asset, has good occupancy, it's got good remaining lease term on the major leases, it really seems like a great time to consider selling while interest rates are low and buyer demand is high. We just heard that from Dan Fasulo. Mm-hmm. What do you see in the marketplace every day?
Yeah, Michael, I think this is a great time to consider selling. Retail's back in vogue. You know, retail took a hit in the market during the downturn, and apartments were the product type that every investor seemed to want. Well, during the cycle, cap rates on institutional grade apartments have dropped. Cap rates on retail have been reasonably high, so the comparison's good. So we're seeing a lot of investors now who are looking favorably at retail.
Yeah, it's a good time, and so let's talk about some strategies and tips for property owners if they are considered selling.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main considerations is the timing, right?
Sure, timing's important. If you have partners as an investor, you know, consider your partners in the sell or don't sell decision. I would say the second thing you would look at your rent roll, look at your lease agreements, look at remaining term on your lease agreements. If you've got 2-3 years remaining on a majority of your tenants, particularly on an anchor tenant, now may not be the time to sell.
That's right.
You know, get to a point where you can renew either through an option or through a negotiated renewal, and maybe put the property on the market at that point. And
you may also want to consider the maturity on your existing debt service, right?
Sure, absolutely. If you've got a loan that's due within a year, you know, now might be particularly a good time to consider selling. And consider your pricing. You know, the goal is to generate competing offers so that you can generate your sell by loan maturity.
Right,
so price it accordingly.
And timing has a lot to do with that, right? Is it like right now, for instance, there's a lot of buyers in the marketplace, and lenders are ready to go on retail now, and they haven't been. So that's going to affect your pricing. And you also want to maximize your income stream on the property, right? You talked about, you know, if your leases are too short, that can really hurt you.
Right. Yeah, look at your profit and loss statement. Look at your rent roll. If you've got leases that you can renew now by approaching tenants and offering to do tenant improvements in exchange for a 3 to a 5 year lease, that's money well spent. You know, go ahead and get concessions up front. Let those burn off prior to taking the property to market. It's all about capitalizing the highest income per year on your property.
Yeah, good point. And you also want to look at your existing loan too, right, before you decide to go to market?
Right. Look at your capital stack. If you've got a loan that has notice requirements to your lender prior to sale, make sure that you can honor those. If you've got yield maintenance issues, make those calculations now so that you know what the hit's going to be.
Yeah. If you're going to deliver the property debt-free, which most buyers want today, because the interest rates are so favorable, you want to know what that's going to cost you, right?
Oh boy, absolutely.
That's a good one. And how about deliverables, John? Should you go look at what your deliverables that you're going to deliver to the buyer after they go under contract? Should you go look at those up front and see what a buyer might think of those?
Sure. Look at your lease agreements, lay them out in front of you, make a good rent roll. Make sure that you as a landlord have fulfilled all of your obligations under that lease agreement. You don't want any surprises during a due diligence period. Make sure that your lease files have all of your lease amendments, any letters, significant letters from tenants, you want to have those in the file. you want to be able to present those up front and not realize later that you missed something as a seller.
Yeah, I think it's real important, and experienced brokers in the sector like you around the country can do that as well. They can look at all your deliverables and leases and kind of look at it in a buyer's eye and see, hey, this is the challenges I might have. Let's see if we can address some of these before we get to that point. And another thing that sellers will sometimes ask us is, what about condition of the asset? What should we do there to improve the value? What gives them a good return?
Right. Well, first impression is important when you first drive up into the parking lot of a shopping center. Your first impression means something. So, as a seller, consider restriping and resealing your parking lot. Consider doing a top coat of paint. Consider improving your lighting, and for any vacancies that you have, clean the vacancies out, replace ceiling tiles, dress them up so that they're in move-in condition. You want a buyer to come in and view spaces that look like they've been recently vacated, not vacated for 3 years. So improve them accordingly. It's money well spent.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I laugh because I saw a package for a retail center the other day for sale, and the picture of the center of the parking lot was empty.
Right. Yeah, don't take your photos for your marketing package at 8 a.m. in the morning. That's not a good idea.
Right, and we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about some tips for actually marketing the asset. And we have John Harrison in Studio One with Bull Realty. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you in part by France Media. France Media provides exposure to the world of commercial real estate. Visit francemediainc.com or call 404-832-8262. Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We're excited to announce a new service on the show. It's called Ask Michael Bull. Every business day, I answer a listener's question on video. You can check it out at Twitter account, Ask Michael Bull, or on our YouTube channel, Commercial Real Estate Show. Well, today we're discussing best practices when selling retail properties with John Harrison with the National Retail Group at Bull Realty. And John, obviously when you're selling a retail property, the way it's actually marketed is very important, right?
Right. Yeah, as a seller, the broker that you choose to partner with is a big decision. It may not be the broker that you play golf with or the broker that works for the largest firm in town. It may be a broker that convinces you that his marketing processes are the best.
Yeah, and you want to actually look at what those brokers are actually doing when they market the property, right?
Right. Yeah, if we're marketing a $15 million larger retail asset, then it may well be that our buyer is in the database. So we focus on the database first.
And how many people are in the database?
Thousands.
Yeah.
Big number.
Yeah.
And on the marketing of a smaller property, say something under 10 million, that property may benefit from aggressive exposure, being on 17 marketing systems that we employ. The database of investors that follow us, that collect emails from us every month, is significant. So you want to generate competing offers. That's the idea. You want a broker that participates with other brokers. It's all about generating the most offers at the highest number for your seller. So the process with which you do that's important.
I think one of the things you said that was really key there was a broker cooperating with other brokers. But I think, in the investment real estate world, a lot of brokers like us, I think I checked our retail database the other day and had 12,000 buyers. And
Right.
I think we can get the feeling that, we have access to the buyers. But what we've also found is if we cooperate with all the brokers in the country, we share a fee with them, we create even more offers and more demand, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I met with an investor, incidentally, last night who had looked on our website. They're business people, they're IT people that are generating cash and looking to buy real estate. So the investors for the 25,000-foot shopping center may not be in anyone's database because they may be entirely new to the market.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes it's that buyer that maybe just sold his business or is new to the sector that might pay more.
Right.
And if you're a seller, you might want to find that buyer, right?
Sure. And we find some investors who are crossing from one product type to another to pick up a property with it may be a better return.
Yeah. and also finding the foreign investors too that might not be on the database because they're just coming to the U.S. or they're just coming to that region or that sector, and
Right.
Having a currency converter and a translation on your website and having the property there can be beneficial. Now, when you're looking at all these different types of buyers, and they're not just the database buyers, you also have to vet these buyers, don't you?
No, you do. I delivered an offer this week from an investor out of Australia, and they have assets and acquisitions in other states, but nothing in Georgia. So I did some research to find out that, yes, they do have money in the bank. They've got the wherewithal to buy, and they like the Atlanta market. But you have to vet the buyer, make sure that the offer you're delivering to a seller is one that'll stand up. You need to know the likelihood of closing. Are you dealing with a buyer that has a reputation for retrading? These are all things that you want to help a seller consider while they're weighing competing offers.
That's a good point. And brokers like you that specialize all over the country in investment retail will know that about the buyers out there. Well, John, thanks for joining us today.
Good. My pleasure, Michael.
I'm Michael Bull. Until next week, be sure that you always lead, learn, and laugh, and join us for the Commercial Real Estate Show. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Atlanta Office Liquidators, new and used furniture liquidators, France Media, publications and conferences, and Bull Realty Commercial Brokerage, a great place to do business. For more information on these companies or to access additional podcasts, videos, or blogs, visit commercialrealestateshow.com.